Today we're going to be taking a look at a 2023 Toyota Corolla SE Hybrid. Let's get started. So this is the first year that Toyota is offering the Corolla Hybrid in other trim levels besides the LE. So for the 2023 model year, we have the LE, the SE, and the XLE. Now the LE and the SE come in both front wheel and all-wheel drive, while the XLE you can only get in front wheel drive. The car that we're going to take a look at today is the SE Hybrid front wheel drive, which is sort of Toyota's middle of the lineup now for the Corolla Hybrid. You're going to get 138 horsepower out of this 2023 Corolla Hybrid, which is up from the 121 horsepower that we had in the previous year's Corolla Hybrid, and that's partly in thanks to the Gen 5 hybrid system that Toyota put into this new Corolla Hybrid. Fuel economy is estimated to average 47 miles per gallon. That's going to be 50 in the city and 43 on the highway. We're going to start this overview by going over the exterior, and then we're going to jump inside and talk about some of the interior features. But starting off right here in the front of the vehicle, you can see we have a different front bumper than we do on, for example, a Corolla LE Hybrid. So right off the bat, you can see that the Toyota emblem is facing upwards instead of outwards. Also, you can see that we have a much larger front grille on the Sport model as opposed to the LE. So where the LE would just kind of cut off right here, we have this little extended portion over here on each side of the grille, adding for some more aggressiveness. And just below the grille on the very bottom of the bumper, you can see we have these little ridges right here, which combined with this grille make the front end look a lot more aggressive. There's also LED headlights with LED daytime running lights. Moving to the hood of the Corolla Hybrid, you can see that this right here is the classic silver metallic color. So this is what it looks like. It has a little bit of shine to it. And you can also see that we have some body lines over here. So they kind of go upwards and then they turn off to the side. So same thing over here, kind of goes upwards and then turns off to the side. You can see up on top of the windshield, we have a camera mounted right there. Now that's going to be used for the TSS features. So for this year, the Corolla Hybrid has Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which just has some minor upgrades to the previous versions. Moving on over to the side, we have our wheels and tires. So these are 18-inch dark graphite alloy wheels, which are exclusive to the SE trim. And the tire size here is 225/40/18. These tires are Yokohama Avid GTs. You can see we have our color match side mirror right here. It does have a turn signal indicator built into the side, but you can see as we go around the mirror here, there is no standard blind spot monitors on this SE trim level. If you do want blind spot monitors, you would have to get the SE Premium package, which does cost $1,220, but it is going to give you the heated power outside mirrors. It's also going to give you the blind spot monitor, as well as a power moonroof up on top. At the bottom, we do have a pearl black side skirt over here, which helps give this SE some more sporty styling. And now we do also have keyless entry on these door handles over here, so both the driver and the passenger seat have keyless entry. The smart key system is standard on the SE model, but what's really interesting is now the smart key system is no longer standard on the LE Hybrid when it used to be. So you can see I can go ahead and unlock the car just by being near it. That's something that used to be available on the LE Hybrids as standard, but now it's not. We do also have black plastic trimming around all the windows over here, so you can see starting up here in the front, right behind the mirror, we have some black plastic. It goes all the way around the windows, and then we also have this little bit right here between the front and rear. Back behind the doors, we have our fuel door over here, which if we open it up, you can see pretty much nothing too special over here. This is where you're going to get gas. This car does take 87 octane, so there's no need to put premium fuel in it. Up at the top, we have our color-matched shark fin antenna, and then sliding down over here, you can see we also have our color-matched spoiler here on this SE model, which I think does look really great because it's not very overdone, but it is also just kind of completing this whole sport package. All the way over here to the back, you can see we have our taillights, which do have this kind of non-functional black bar over here that's just connecting these two taillights together. Over here, we have Corolla badging. To the right, we have SE Hybrid badging, and then just down below that, you can see we have this black diffuser over here, and then we have two exhaust tips on the right side at the very end there. We also have a reverse camera right over there, just underneath our Toyota emblem, which is blue to show you that this is a hybrid. Just slightly off center, you can see we do have a release for the trunk. So if we open it up all the way, you can see just how big and just how deep it goes. Now inside this box, we do have some of the rubber floor mats that are going to go inside the cabin. You could also see that these are 60/40 folding rear seats, but to fold them down, you are going to actually have to go into the second row over there. This Corolla Hybrid does not come with a spare tire. It does come with a fix-a-flat kit, however, but there is space to put a spare tire if you did want to. We're going to go ahead and move inside of the Corolla Hybrid SE now and talk about some of the features. So we're going to start over here on the door card. You can see on the door card we do have a little bit of plastic, a little bit of leather, and then also we have some red stitching along the leather. Now this right here, the red stitching, is going to be a common theme in the interior of this car. Now we do also have some storage right here for some water bottles, and we also have one of our 6 speakers. These aren't branded speakers, they're not JBL or anything, but they're just, you know, regular Toyota speakers. We have 6 of these inside of this car. You can see over here we have our window switches. Now the only one that is auto up down is going to be the driver one over here. We have our window lock, unlock switches, as well as our mirror controls. Now shifting focus over to these seats right over here, you can see that these are fabric seats and the theme here is black and red. So you can see we have this really cool red and white stripe that goes down right here, kind of from the headrest down to this center portion right here. And this entire center portion is like black with like little red dots. Around all these black pieces right here, we also have some red stitching. And then there's also that area right here between these 2 front seats, which is kind of just like leather padded with some red stitching on it, the little cover there for the center console. Moving over here to the side, you can see that this is not a power operated seat. So all the controls are going to be manual for both the driver and the passenger side. And before we fully get in, there's a couple of buttons over here that we're going to go over. So we do have right over here a brightness control for the center gauge. We have our automatic high beams button, traction control off. We have a release for our fuel door, release to adjust the steering wheel position, and then just down below that we also have a release for the trunk down here, as well as our release for the hood, which is just up over here. The SE Hybrid trim level does get a leather wrapped steering wheel, which does feel really nice in the hand. You can see we don't have any of that red stitching here on the steering wheel, only black stitching, but it does look pretty nice and it does feel really nice in the hand, especially since it's brand new. Over here, we have some buttons on the steering wheel. Now, these buttons were kind of rearranged and redesigned a little bit this year. Now, mainly, they still serve the same function. So this left side right here is going to control the little screen that we have in the center. The bottom row is still going to control the audio and the multimedia. And the right side is still going to control some of those TSS features. Speaking of screen in the center, you can see we had a little bit of a downgrade this year. So this screen right here between these 2 gauges is just a small little 4-inch screen, where before, when the Corolla Hybrid only had 1 trim level in the previous years, we actually had a much larger display. Now, it wasn't an entire digital gauge, but we just had a much larger. I think I want to say it was somewhere around 7 inches, whereas this one is 4 inches. So we just had a larger display in the future, and now it's kind of sad to see that, you know, they've sort of downgraded, especially in the LE Hybrid. But now that we have this SE Hybrid, I was hoping that we'd at least see the larger screen, but now we have a small 4-inch screen here between these 2 gauges. The Corolla Hybrid also has a new startup chime this year, which is the same chime that we hear in the BZ4X when you start that up. So it looks like Toyota is bringing that chime to more of their vehicles. So let's go ahead and start the Corolla Hybrid here and let's listen. And right there, now that we have the Corolla Hybrid here turned on, you can see just what that 4-inch screen here looks like. So it used to be a little bit larger, just a little minor complaint of mine. But now you can see we can shift our focus over here to this 8-inch display, which is also new for this year because we have the new audio and multimedia system. So now we have wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. So after setting up this screen, you can connect to your devices wirelessly and you won't have to plug in by USB anymore to use things like navigation or Apple Music, Spotify. Pretty much all of your apps that you would use while driving on your phone can now be displayed wirelessly on the display. And as a side note, for those that don't like to use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you can still just use regular Bluetooth to connect your devices over. Just down below the screen, you can see we have some air vents over here as well as our emergency lights. And then we have our single zone climate control over here. So using this right knob, we can control the intensity of the fan and then the temperature over here on the left side. Nice. Below the HVAC controls, we have a little storage cubby right over here, which is kind of the most common place for people to place their phone as they're driving one of these. And then to the right of that, you can see we do have a USB port. Now this is actually a USB-C port for the first time this year. Previously, this was a USB type A port. And moving further along, you can see we have different drive modes that we can select. So moving this little indicator right here up and down, we can switch between Eco, Normal, and Sport mode, which is just going to change how fast the throttle is going to respond to our inputs. We also have EV mode right over here, so we can drive using only the battery in EV mode. And then we have our standard shifter over here. We have park, reverse, neutral, drive, and a braking mode for those who want to slow down the car a little bit as they let off the throttle and regenerate some energy for the battery. We also have 2 cup holders right over here, and just to the left of that we have our automatic electronic parking brake as well as a brake hold feature. And inside of the center console you can see we have another USB Type-C port as well as a 12-volt power outlet. On the passenger side you can see we have our glove box over there, which is a pretty average medium sized glove box. Then we have some more water bottle storage over there on the passenger side door card. Moving upwards now, you can see we have our rear view mirror over here, which is not auto dimming. So we have a manual dimmer right here, which you can use to dim the mirror by yourself. Moving off to the side of the rear view mirror, you can see we have our visor over here, which we can adjust the position of like this so that we can turn it over towards the window, but we cannot extend this for any extra coverage. We do just have kind of like this little piece right here that does come out, but you can't actually move the entire visor. We also have a mirror and a light as well behind this little cover. And up at the very top, you can see we have some light controls over here, as well as an emergency SOS button. Sitting in the back of the Corolla Hybrid now, you can see we do have 2 USB Type-C ports over here, which used to be USB Type-A ports, so it's nice to see that sort of everything is slowly turning over to USB Type-C. We don't have any storage pockets over here behind the driver and the passenger side, but if we're not going to use the middle seat, we can fold this little area down right here for 2 extra cup holders. And we do also have some child seat latch points right over here behind these plastic covers. Now you can see sort of right now, the way that I'm sitting, I do have a lot of leg room, but that's mainly because I slid the seat over here in front of me pretty close up to the steering wheel over there. Now, if I were to set up my position more towards like what I would sit like normally, which is like that passenger seat over there, you can see you lose a lot of leg room, which depending on what type of person you are, it may be enough, it may not be enough. The Corolla is one of the smaller cars that Toyota sells now, so you know, the space in here can be good for some, but not good for others. One last thing in the back here, there are some little releases right there next to the headrests that you can push down, which will allow you to fold these seats over here, give you access to the trunk. So if you need to fit some larger items through the back, you can do that right there. So that's going to conclude our overview on the 2023 Toyota Corolla SE Hybrid. Let me know your thoughts below on would you get this car. It does get 47 miles per gallon, but it is kind of lacking in the features department and it isn't the right size for everybody. It's a little bit tight in there. So let me know what your thoughts are below, what you guys think, and I will see you all next week. Thanks for watching.